Hi everyone, I'm Karen Anderson. I'm part of the Arden Creative Studio Design team, and I'm here with a layout for you that uses all of the current Arden Creative Studios releases. So that's Hidden Creek, Vintage Makers, and Page Starters all together. And I've used them on what's my passion, which is scrapbooking on a scrapbook page. And I'm here to show you. This is my page. And this was inspired by a stunning card that I saw on the Arden Creative Studios Crafters Facebook page, and it was a tunnel card. And I love taking things that I see in one craft and using them in another. So I took that idea of layers that were lifted off one another and used that to create my scrapbook page of my beautiful granddaughter Elora. I hope you enjoy it, enjoy watching the process, and have fun. Thanks a lot. We're going to start by cutting some circles out of white cardstock, and what we're interested here is in creating the negative space that cutting the circles creates. So we need to cut a 10.5 inch, a 9 inch, a 7.5 inch, and a 5 3/4 inch circle out of white cardstock. And we also need an uncut sheet for the base. Now, this might look like you need 5 sheets of 12 by 12. You don't, because some of the larger circles that you cut out, you can cut again to create the negative space for the smaller sizes. So that's what we need to do to get started. And if you have something like a silhouette or a cricket, then this is quite simple. You can just program that all in using your software. I have a silhouette, but I actually wanted to do this just using a craft knife, and I drew round plates and bowls of different sizes, and it's worked out great. So you don't need a load of equipment in order to make this layout. Once all your circles are cut out, you'll need to stack everything up in size order, and this is the time to kind of make any adjustments to make sure that the spacing between the circles is more or less even. Do you need to trim any crazy amount of excess cardstock off? Once you've done that, then what we're going to do is we're going to ink the edges of each of the circles, and that's my little tip for disguising any dodgy cutting. A little bit of ink hides a multitude of sins, thank goodness. So here's all of my layers inked up, and I've chosen some colours of distress ink to match and coordinate in with my photo of my beautiful granddaughter Elora. And I've also used the Fancy Flourish stencil on the bottommost layer of cardstock to add a little bit of texture and interest. So the next step is to attach each of the layers, but with dimensions. So you could use 3D foam. I'm going to use some corrugated card, but whatever you're most comfortable using that will separate each of the layers and add some depth. So I've layered all of the cardstock circles together and used the cardboard, like I said, to add dimension. I think you can kind of see now my vision of where we're going. We've got lots of dimension going on, and we're creating that tunnel effect. So I'm working out where I'm going to start putting my key elements. I want my photo here, and I'm going to have two larger embellishments between the layers on these pages. These are embellishments that they're the die cut embellishments, and they have a white border around them, which I'm not completely fond of, so I trim that off. And I'm a big fan of fussy cutting. I find it quite therapeutic. And one of the things that helps me, and I think it was a tip I picked up a long time ago, is when you are fussy cutting intricate shapes, is to move the paper and not your scissors. So if you can't move your paper enough, then take your scissors out and come in again. I think that's kind of roundabout all. You don't need to be super accurate, but I think that looks a bit better than, for me, than the white border, which is why I love the laser cuts that come in the Arden Creative Studios releases so far, but they don't have these precise designs in the laser cuts, and so these are the die cuts, and I'm just trimming off the excess white. So I'm kind of starting to place things where I think I might like them, and use these different layers and tiers for added dimension. So I'm going to keep adding, and I'll come back when I've got a few more on. So I was just going through the page starters rub-ons, and I found this beautiful design here, which I thought would be lovely in the background at the bottommost layer of my layout. So I've cut that out, and I'm just going to finish off rubbing that on to the background, just as another layer of interest. That looks really beautiful. So I just offer up my photo again. Oh yeah, I'm really pleased with how this is coming together now. So I'll stick some of these down, and then the next thing I think I'm going to do is create something using some of the dies. So I really love these banner shaped dies that were released with the Page Starters collection, particularly this pennant shape. So I've taken that and my die cutting machine, and I've cut 10 of the pennant shapes using Hidden Creek paper. I've chosen this yellow spotted side because I think it will go with my page. I've inked all the edges with scattered straw, and then I've glued them onto a length of baker's twine. I'm going to do that twice, so I'm going to make 2 strings of pennants, and then I've added 3D foam onto the reverse, and I will add them to the page. Okay, so here we are. I've obviously titivated a bit more and added a few more bits. I used one of the page starter die cuts for my title block, and one of the page starter titles. I've added some of the PET tape elements, the kiss cut elements, to little bits of my like bunting banners, some die cut butterflies and some laser cut butterflies, and then I've added a few little flowers from my stash, and held the ends of the bunting strings in place with some teeny tiny brads. And there's a few clear droplets that I've added here and over here and to the title card. And then I just thought the edges looked tiny bit bland, and so I've just added a little bit of stamping to 3 of the corners, just splats in tattered rose and tea dye. And that's it. I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy it. You can combine all of these elements from the Art and Creative Studios releases. They work beautifully together, and I hope you can see that in this. I've used all of the 3 current releases. That's Hidden Creek, Vintage Makers and Page Starters all together on this page, and I love it. Thanks for watching.